Welcome back to Code Breakers, the podcast where we take complex tech topics and mindset topics and break them down into digestible pieces. Today, we're joined by a man who is literally shaping the visual and professional landscape of Las Vegas. He's the owner of A&G Studios and the current president of AAF Las Vegas, Simon Lopez. Simon, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Franisha. I love what you're doing here. First off, congratulations on the show, and I appreciate being invited to participate.
Thank you so much. It's a fun thing. It's a fun thing.
It is, and I think people, any kind of medium where we can get information out to people or share our stories or maybe inspire other people by talking about what our journeys.
Yeah.
That's really what I think makes community happen.
Then I get to get on and reconnect with people that I've been knowing for years and see what you guys been up to and see all the growth. Yeah.
The
I
growth,
enjoy it.
right? The growth, because that's something that when you're in the eye of the storm, you don't notice, right? And
No.
yeah, it's really incredible when you put your head down and do the work. All of that just seems like outside noise, right? And then
Yeah.
moments like this are like you're documenting it, right? So that over
Yeah.
time you can look back and that's pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure. One day you just look up and you're like, how did I get here? It was awesome.
Yeah, and where is here, right? And then what's
Mhm.
what's next,
What's
right?
next? Yeah. Yeah, one of my favorite things to say. So, as we're talking about crossing paths and the journey and things like that, we have crossed paths many times. First through AAF. I've met so many different people through the American Advertising Federation. Dot, my last guest, I met her through AAF many years ago. And we've been on the local creative scene for quite some time. Can you walk us through your journey? How did you go from the early days of starting your career to running A&G Studio to being the president? What is this again for
Yeah, yeah,
AF?
yeah. Well, I'll give you the short version. I'm, born and raised in New York, and I started something unique that I did that maybe is a note for other folks to kind of propel themselves early on. Is I interned throughout my college career. So, as a freshman, I was getting internships at radio stations, at working in the promotions department, and then in the summers during the year. I was always active in getting internships so that by the time that I graduated, I had a resume full of different experiences, right? Because uh, I think that kind of gave me an edge because other folks, waited until their senior year to start doing internships and stuff. So by the time I was a senior, my last internship, they hired me right on. So I had a job at the number two radio station in New York City coming right out of college,
Mhm.
and that was exciting, but a lot of work, right? It's a lot of work, and it's just about the work and putting and doing the work, right? If you,
Yeah.
you know, yeah. And then I guess from there, I was a production assistant with Spanish Broadcasting System, and then they partnered with CBS Radio to open a radio station in Washington D.C. And as a testament to that, put your head down and do the work. I was literally in the fourth floor of the production office with my head down on my desk, and one of the program directors comes up behind me and taps me on the back. Yeah, I was transferring files with my head down on the desk. It was like midnight after 12 hours of work, right? I was a production assistant. And then the one of the program directors comes, taps me on the shoulder and says, "Hey, we're working with CBS to open a radio station in Washington, D.C. Would you be interested in going down there and helping us with production?" And I said, 100% yes, and that was an opportunity. And it kind of showed me too that people are watching, people are watching. You're doing the work, you got your head down, but people are noticing, and there's maybe conversations being had about you that you don't even know about, right? And that's what happens when you put your head down and do the work.
Yeah.
And then from there, um, working in entertainment and radio. I did a bunch of, I was on the air, I did production, I got that whole experience. And then I moved over to advertising as a producer and audio engineer and studio manager, um, for a company, and then you know that was my last full time before I started my path in entrepreneurship and creating opportunity for others.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I always say entrepreneurship finds you. It's not something you choose. It eventually finds you. Um,
100%.
you
Yes.
said some amazing things. I literally tell my son now, who's in high school, get involved in things. The more things you get involved in now, the less you'll have to. It'll make it easier once you get older. Like once you're out of school and you're done with school, things will just kind of flow so easy to you.
And it compounds, right? The more you study, the more you do, the more you learn, people that you meet, right? The more you're able to connect and grow your network, right? It compounds, and before you know it, you know you're pushing 50 like me, and and you know a bunch of people because you've been around so long. It's
Yeah.
a marathon. It really is, right?
Hmm.
You just stick with it, and then, you know, you look up and you've been with the same people. I think I've known you a better part of 15 years or something, right? 10, 15
Yep.
years.
Yep. We've been on each other for a long
20
time.
years or something, right? It's catching up, but that's how it works, right? And then time, that's why it's so important to use your time wisely, right?
Hmm.
I like to say time is a currency you can only use once.
Yep. Sure. Okay. You get a different 24 every day. How you going to use it?
How you going to use it? That's it.
So, the the studio code. Let's talk about that.
Yeah,
You built A&G Studios into a powerhouse. When you were starting, what was the most complex part of the production code
sure.
that you had
Yeah.
to crack to make a creative service-based business viable?
Well, at first, it was just it's just figuring it out, right? Saying yes to problems and finding solutions, right? And focusing on solving, right, the issue, right, rather than panicking or something like that, right? So when a client has a request, you know yeah, sure, let's do it. How can we get into it? And then you start picking apart the project and putting together the team in place that can execute it, right? I think,
Mhm.
when I started the company, it was I saw a lot of things that I didn't like the company that I was with, that I wanted to make changes on. And then, you kind of, you're able to do that when you work for yourself, right? And then create your own systems and procedures. um and yeah, and then, my thing is just, with every project, bringing a team together. For me, it's what I love about it is the that, you're kind of creating opportunity for other people too, right?
Mhm.
And that's really what elevates you, right? It's all about teamwork. Yeah, so creative, right? Creative problem solving, and then with every issue that or project, and kind of picking it apart, figuring out how to solve it creatively, right? And it's so cool, I guess, since I started the company like 11 years ago, right?
Mhm.
Then the technology, right, has expanded so much and just exploded right now, that right now creativity is available at the touch of a fingertip,
Mhm.
how
Yeah.
people create now is different than it was when I started the company.
I can just imagine, like, I went to CES this year, and I go every year. I've been going to CES for many years now. I'm a CES vet. And all of the AI stuff, like to know what cinematics is going to look like in by the end of this year, in next year, and all of this CGI and things like that, that's one thing. But actually having animatronics that look realistic and not like the things we used to see going to Chuck E. Cheese, it is crazy.
Yeah, no, and in video production, in my industry, the use of virtual production is just making things, so much easier to produce. A $30 million film you can do for half the price, or like, we did a video where we were on the rooftop with a fighting scene, and the background was all designed in Unreal Engine on these giant, LED screens. And then we were in a car driving down the strip, and then we were on a beach, right? And then we were in a casino, all in 10 hours, all in one day. And when before you would have to travel and set up generators and all kinds of things, you're really able to do so much with the technology. And
Yeah.
AI as well, right? There's a tech that we use where we're able to generate backgrounds, very specific backgrounds, and change things around, and it's just incredible. Things where we'd have to find a kitchen somewhere and rent the house and bring it to, you could just create that in a virtual world and put it on an LED screen, and you're there, and
Yeah.
it's incredible. I
You
think
know,
we're living in the most exciting times.
yeah, for sure. So I've been seeing talks going around about having movies made with all AI characters. How do you feel about that?
I don't think that's a thing we have to worry about quite yet. I think there might be a genre for that, but that's it's always going to be separate from I don't think we're going to see like whole films being shot with AI characters, without any human characters, or I don't think that's going to happen. Well, at least not, hopefully not in my lifetime. That's too
Right.
weird for me, right? But
Mm-hmm.
the use of AI to like enhance VFX and edit the editing process, I'm all for that. You know, um, I know that also actors are very worried about that, about using, having their likeness taken and mapped for AI. Voice actors, they're asking for specific clauses in contracts. On-screen actors are asking for these contract clauses that you know, is kind of promising that, hey, you're not going to take my likeness and create an AI out of it, right? So if you're a performer out there, make sure that you're asking for that clause in your contracts. You're just protecting yourself. Um, you know, but that's the world that we live in, right? And those regulations have to be created as the
Yeah.
technology unravels. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Very great insight. So between running a studio and leading the AAF, your plate is full.
Oh,
What
yeah.
what's one specific non-glamorous mindset or habit you're focusing on this year that will make the biggest difference for your success?
My body, getting my body to optimal shape. So one thing that I've been doing lately is being very specific in terms of and intentional in terms of everything I do. So when I wake up, right, I have the same routine. I drop the kids off, have my coffee, go to the gym, come back, sit and work. But that morning routine, while mundane and really boring, really is keeping me on the rails, and allows me to have mental clarity. Uh,
Hmm.
you Taking my multivitamins, drinking water, not drinking alcohol, all those things. Uh,
Hmm.
you those things cause friction in process in your processing power, right? So, trying to minimize junk food, for example, right? I've been just focusing on a protein heavy diet this year. I had a heart attack 2 years ago too, so that's something to consider,
Did
right?
not know that.
Yeah, yeah, but all those things, you're able to do more when your body is clean, right? So really focusing on that, and I'm down 20-25 pounds, so
We like to hear that.
going.
Yay. Man, that routine is like mandatory. Like he said, it might sound boring and mundane, but having a routine just in general, being an entrepreneur, having a certain type of mindset is important. So if without that routine, you find yourself like scattering to do so many different things. There's no organization to the plan. And then you got to fit in all those other things in between time, all those unhealthy habits. So, having a schedule, having a healthy routine, having healthy habits, I think is key to actually contributing to your success for sure.
Well, and what's success, right? So I wouldn't say, I say that you never become successful, right? You just you just work at it. But um, another thing too is blocking my time, right? So I know, probably people have heard this a million times, but block your time. So creative times, um, time, personal time, time for different functions, right? So marketing or, whatever it is you're working on,
Hmm.
time blocking, and that way in your mind, you know what to expect, right? Every day. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Hmm.
100%. I can't, like, thinking about how I used to live and go through life 10, 15 years ago. And then all of a sudden, one day, I started living off of my calendar, having time with my friends, having time with my family. If it's not on my calendar, I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing.
Percent. If it's not on my calendar, I'm sleeping.
I am sleeping or on my game. I am playing some Call of Duty. I don't. Yeah, if it's not on my calendar, expect me not to be there.
100%. No, and oh, another thing too, right? That kind of greases the wheels of the functionality of this thing that we have, the body, the mind, the spirit, is, like you said, the Call of Duty or alone time or something that you like to do that nourishes you, right? So I started playing the guitar again, right? I joined
Uh,
ice hockey teams again, stuff I liked to do when I was a little kid, and then it kind of helps balance, and
yeah,
it allows you to do more. Then I'm able to work harder, you
yeah.
know.
I have some non-negotiables for sure. I have to get my gaming time in. I have to, so I'll get off the game sometime and then go finish reading a book. So I'm already in this year on book number 5 for
Okay.
January.
Okay.
So I those are my non-negotiables, and then getting some rest in.
Yes. And then whenever you can, get into a jacuzzi or a sauna, right? That's
Man, dream life.
wherever
Man,
I
work my
can,
way
whenever I
there.
can.
I need to work on consistently getting my workout in though. Like I'll get up some mornings and I'll do that, but then other mornings I'm like, there's just too many other things I need to do to.
Hey, and even if it's like 15 minutes just doing jumping jacks and push-ups, right? Just something that you
Hmm.
love. There are times where I sit outside the gym for half an hour and I go in and I just do half an hour on the treadmill or something, right?
Hmm.
So as long as you're doing something and being active, that's what
Yeah,
matters.
because I definitely sit a lot during my day, as
Yeah.
marketing and putting together creative plans and websites. It's a lot of sitting throughout the day. So remembering to stand up, like you said, move my body.
Well, and since COVID, right, like everything has changed, right? So, a lot of people that before you'd have to get up and go places and see people. Now, you're
Hmm.
just sitting on a computer doing everything, right?
Yep.
So, I think it's important, as an individual, whatever it is you do, right, to put that in because, you know, we live inside these bodies that need to function.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and if you're, filling it with McDonald's and Taco Bell and Coca-Cola and all these
Yeah.
different things, it's
Yeah.
friction. It's friction.
Yeah. COVID definitely changed my output too. It changed my mindset a lot because it was going from going to work every day and then all of a sudden we're at home every day. But soon as we went on shutdown, maybe like a week later, I went blind in my left eye completely. And
No.
yep. And I was like in the ER for a week. And that's when it was a longer story than that, but this short version, I was in the ER for a week and I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. So that
Oh,
whole thing, not being able to see, wondering like, what this diagnosis means for me. I'm a creative. I work with my hands a lot, and
right.
being told that I might not be able to do certain things, run around with my kids in the next few years because, I might need help walking and all that. It definitely changed my perspective with some of the things that I was doing before. So,
Right. Things that maybe seemed important before, right, aren't
mhm.
as important, right? And then you start probably prioritizing, your needs a little more, right?
Yep, yep,
Yeah,
for
yeah.
sure.
No. And thank you for sharing that. I didn't know that about you. So,
Yeah,
thank you for feeling comfortable and sharing that. That must be, you know, um, difficult, but I know you're strong and you'll be able
yeah,
to anything. So,
for sure. Most times I kind of forget now, but until, I get those symptoms. But I got to just keep moving. Got to keep on
Gotta
shaking
keep
and moving.
moving. Yeah, we wake up in the morning, and that's all we need, right?
Yep.
Yep.
So let's shift gears to the practical strategies in the network. I keep saying you're the president of AAF. You're at the center of networking in the world right now in Las Vegas. How has your approach to building and maintaining your network changed now that you're an entrepreneur? And is it more strategic or more relational?
100%. So I think a little bit of both, right? So early on when I was networking, for me it was just about building a fellowship and community, and now it's about it was more for building fellowship and community for myself, right? When I was starting my career, who can give me the next opportunity, or where can I get another job, and this, and then as I grew from attending events to being on boards and committees, and then I was president in 2017, 18, and then moving on to the district board, and then going up the ranks there, and now I'm serving on the Western Region board, being asked to come back to Vegas to help rebuild the board in Vegas. Like what it's become for me now is creating that opportunity for others, and seeing, you know, uh, people interact. When I have a board member come up to me and say, "Hey, I met a client here that's been a client for years that we've never met face to face," and
Hmm.
now here at this event we're meeting face to face, like,
Yeah.
that's what it's about, right? That connection, and bringing folks together, for me, and then and I keep repeating this, right? Creating opportunities for other people in the room.
Hmm.
And then I look up, like I said, you do the work, you put it down. I look up, and I've been friends with some of these people for 20 years now,
Yeah.
and this group is they're my friends, they're my confidants, right? So it's a pretty cool process, as you grow up through these organizations, and I think, even though things have changed in the way that we relate interpersonally with each other, and networking has changed too, right? Now it's got to be more than the free drink, or just,
Yeah.
hey, the cool venue, right? People have to draw value from the event.
Yeah.
What am I learning, right? Who am I going to meet, right? Is this we've evolved with that too, right? Now we have to create more creative programming, right? And panels and workshops and things of the like, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of like creating more creative things, the AAF is known for the Addy Awards,
Yes.
which is coming up really soon. What does that look like in shaping the Addy Awards? It's changed
Yeah.
over the years for sure. The chapter has changed a lot since I was part of the chapter. Now I'm over here with AMA presiding it up. So I
Oh,
completely
yeah.
understand this busy wheelhouse that you're talking about. So what does it look like to have an award show and recognize some of the advertising professionals in Las Vegas?
Oh, man, that's the best part, right? So just to let everyone know, the Addie's entries, call for entries are open. So I'll put the link in the chat somewhere there, so we can get some
Yeah.
entries. And we've extended it through the beginning of March, so everyone has time to get their great work in. Uh, well, no, it's just incredible when you see everybody's work together in one place, and you go, "Wow, all this happened, in Las Vegas," right? And some of the most creative work comes through there. And the American Advertising Awards is an opportunity for not just the creative to be celebrated, but the copywriter, right? The media buyer is celebrated, right? Everybody involved in the campaign gets to celebrate, and it can be something as simple as a business communication one sheet gets judged, all the way up to big complicated national campaigns. So really, an overarching kind of reason to celebrate, the people in our industry and the market, right?
Hmm.
And it's amazing, when you get everybody in that room, and they get their trophies, and everybody's beaming, and
Hmm.
happy, because as advertising and marketing folks, we're in the trenches for the most part, right? It's
Yeah, head
not
down.
glamorous. It's not glamorous, right? it's a night to be able to get dressed up and celebrate, and celebrate the work, and we get to watch the creative on the screen, and it's a good time.
Yeah. So what do you say to someone who wants to enter but they're scared to enter? They don't feel like their work is worthy.
No, but your work is judged upon its own merits. So it's a point system based upon its own merits. So it's not to say, oh, only one person is going to win this award. No, in every category, each work is judged on its own merits, and the judges that we have are from out of market and markets similar to size as our market. So we're not going to have somebody from New York judging work in Las Vegas, right? But what we will have folks from Salt Lake City, for example, or Nashville, right, and different
Hmm.
places. We'll start announcing our judges in the next week. But we got a great group of creative people from across the country that are going to be looking at the work, and that's what I mean. So it's based on its own merits. So don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to enter because you're not going to be going against the MGMs and the Caesars, right? You're being judged on its own 2 feet. So the work will be
Yeah,
judged.
for sure.
Right.
Okay, speaking of a whole creative system putting together an advertising awards, you do high-end video production, and I'm sure that can feel super complex to a business owner. How do you break down the tech of marketing into digestible pieces for your clients so that they understand the value of quality over DIY?
No, 100%, and then, I've had a client once say, "Oh, can we shoot it with an iPhone?" Right? And I'm like, well, we have this, $50,000, $100,000 camera. We can A/B it so you can see the difference. I had to do that once, right? But, um, I,
Because you can get anything done with an iPhone now, huh?
well, by the
That's what
time,
people
by the
think.
time I'm in a very great position because by the time it gets to me, the client already understands the value and but everybody has different priorities and there's a different level of production for everybody. So we have clients where we're doing a simple shoot and it's not expensive, right? And we have a small footprint, and we have a smaller cameras, and then we have the large clients where we bring in all the bells and whistles. So I think the first thing is asking the client, what are you trying to accomplish, and then how much money do you have, and then we'll work backwards from there, right? So okay, so you got $2,000. This is what we can do, right? Okay, you have $1 million. Obviously we can do more creative things. So really, it runs the gamut, right? But we don't say no to anybody. Why? Because I'm not the guy running around with the camera, right? We're creating that opportunity for other people, right? So we're able to help maybe a student. We have a couple folks that just graduated that are starting out that we use for some of the smaller stuff, and
Mhm.
then we have the Directors Guild of America guys that we bring in for the bigger stuff. You know what I mean? Um, but being that anchor in the community and being able to create opportunities for others um, up and down the scale. Okay, okay, great.
What's your what's the most favorite thing that you've worked on? Like what's the funnest thing or favorite thing that you've ever worked on?
Can I be cheesy? Can I be cheesy? Building my family. I think
Okay.
working to build my family, and then trying to break generational curses and being intentional with what we're doing with the kids and making decisions based on their well-being.
Yeah.
um, that's really been the biggest and most challenging and most you know the thing that's really stretched my creativity and having to come up talk about problem solving and all kinds of
Yeah.
different things, right? So and
Mhm.
and keeping me grounded, right? Because you know um, no matter how cool projects and things that I'm involved in, I still got to go home and take out the trash,
Yeah.
and whatever it is, right? Handle my daughters and my sons. Everybody has a different priorities in their heads, and it's amazing when I'm coming up with an exciting proposal for a client and I'm working on that, and then my daughter comes up and she's like, "Daddy, can you help me with this thing? And it's like, a little toy or something. And then it really puts things in perspective for me, and I have to respect their what's priority for each individual in the home
Yeah,
too, right? So everybody has their own point of view, their own priorities, and that's helped me grow as a person as well, and be able to handle things more in the real world. Well, not real world, but my professional space. Um, you know, patience, everything else. So definitely that's been the most rewarding thing that I've done is the
I for sure feel that 100%. Having three of my own, and my oldest is in high school, just his first year in high school. He's going to West Tech for cybersecurity, which I'm super proud of. And he's at the age to where he knows what I do for work, and I'll be working on a website, and he's like, "What are you working on now?" Or just a few weeks ago, creating me an AI. I was creating a new AI chatbot for my business, and he's like, "Well, what's that?" And then we're in Terminal together because he understands how to use Terminal on his Mac, and he's like, "Well, did you try using this? Because I'm running into errors. Did you try using that?" I think it's so cool seeing his growth specifically, and seeing the things that he didn't used to know, like my current 6 year old, she's like oblivious to what's going on, and he was there once upon a time, and now he's like, well, I know how to do this, and like, this is so cool, do you use that? And we have these complex conversations about technology because he understands now. So I'm really excited to see where my other two go as well, who are currently 12 and 6.
That's exciting, right? Seeing them come into their own and stuff, and then and then I'm sure you're picking up on things. You're like, wow, right? Like they're really watching you, right? So it's not what you say, do what I say, right? Because you know even
Yeah.
mannerisms and the way the problem solving things, right? I have my son come up to me and be like, I have a plan for a business, Dad, and I'm gonna figure this out, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, man, they're watching, so while you're here and you're doing what you're doing, they're watching everything you're doing, and they're gonna want to be like you, right? Or
Hmm.
not, or not,
Yeah.
right?
Or
Whatever they
not,
want to
right?
be, whatever they want to be. But they're watching, so be
Yeah.
careful what you
I
do.
definitely tell them, you don't have to own a business, but you definitely have to have a plan in life.
But
So,
yeah, planning. Let's talk about that, right?
yeah,
I've started planning my year this year, right? Something I've done a little differently, right? Milestones, things I want to accomplish by this date. I want to have this done, and try to push the year along that way. That's something I'm doing different in 2026.
love that. That brings us right into the next question. What is the most crucial system, whether it's for production, workflow, time management, or leadership, that you implemented in the last year or coming into this year that you wish you had started 5 years ago?
Yeah, planning my year, blocking time in the schedule, like all these things, creating that mundane routine. Those are the systems that are allowing me to do more. Creating great teams around me, hiring the right people, right? Making
Hmm.
sure that we're empowering folks, um, and letting them run with the ball, right?
Hmm.
Letting go more of things and letting it evolve on its own. Um, Giving space and time to matters, right? Whether it's a follow up email or uh, waiting back on notes from creative, right? Every little
Yeah.
thing, slowing things down a little bit more so I can go faster. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah.
It makes complete sense. I was just having a conversation about how in the marketing realm, clients want things done, and but they don't have the time to slow down and come speak to me. Like, I'm a specialist in my field. I know marketing, I know strategies, and I can get you the results that you're looking for, but you have to slow down and meet with me so that I can pick your brain about what you know in your industry, because you're the specialist in your industry. There's certain things I don't know that I need from you. So you need to slow down so that I can help get you those results faster.
Yeah, and a lot of times, I'm sure, since you work directly client facing, that clients don't even know what they might need sometimes. So you need to, not like you said before, right? You need to not only explain the value, right, but have them understand why is it's important for their business and how it's going to help them. The
Hmm.
ROI and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so we're getting into our final thoughts. What is one major goal you would like to accomplish this year?
Oh man, let me see. One major goal I would like to accomplish this year is, aside from losing another 20 pounds, major goal. Uh, I mean, I have a lot, and I don't like to talk about things before they evolve. So I'm gonna, a couple of those major goals will have to stay quiet because of NDAs. But
I can respect that.
um, let me think. Um, a major goal would be, um, let's see, just okay. How about this? Okay, because I've been more intentional with the way that I structure my day and things that I do. So a major goal for me this year is, okay. Here we go. I'm rebuilding the board for the American Advertising Federation this year. So if anybody watching wants to get involved, please let me know. We need people that want to do things right. So this one of my biggest goals this year is to create a board that can carry this thing on, right? My service is of 2 years. I'm halfway through the first year, and this year my goals were creating the awards and having successful programming. So far, we've done that, and then I think secession is my next big thing, right? I want to make sure that we have people in the seat that want to take this thing and run with it, and it's great for networking. It's a great platform for you as a small business or as a professional to have, because then you're able to speak with people and create a community where you're not selling yourself or selling your business, right? And bringing people together, is always a great thing. And if you enjoy that type of thing, right, reach out,
Yeah.
and I'd love to have you on the board. And we're rebuilding that back. So that's really my number one major goal,
Hmm.
is to make sure we're able to build this board so that I can step away and then come back and it's still running, right? And
Yeah.
events are still happening and things are still going on.
Yeah.
So that I think that's my one big goal this year.
Wonderful. It's a wonderful goal. Um, it's it's definitely it's a challenge, but it's so fulfilling being a president of a chapter, and especially being part of one like the AAF, where like you and I met. I met so many people I still talk to through AAF. So again, if, like Simon said, if you want to build out some relationships and you want to gain some new skills on your in your tool belt, like for sure, join the AAF, and like I think you will
Yeah,
fulfilled for.
no, and it's so important, like, creating that community and fellowship. Like I was at dinner the other day. I don't know what we met for drinks or whatever after with some of the board members the other day, and I'm sitting there. I'm like, you guys are my friends. Like, I work all the time. You know what I mean? So my only real friends are people that I do business with. My business partners or folks that I meet at the organization, and we organize things. Like, I don't have
Hmm.
friends. We're just not working on something or talking about something or creating something. You know what I mean? So it's really good, and it's great that I get to create events, and people are still interested in coming and seeing. Although,
Yeah.
like I said, it's changed completely, right? The way you need to structure and program things, right? People aren't drinking alcohol anymore, so like we're planning a panel on how to market and advertise to Gen Y and Z and the likes, and it's going to have a non-alcoholic kind of twist thing to it, right? Where we do
Hmm.
mocktails and all that stuff, right? Like
Yeah.
things that before you'd be like, "There's going to be no alcohol there." Like, no, people don't smoke
Mhm.
anymore. So even like our signature monthly event, we used to call it brand beers, right? And
Yep.
now
I used to go to brand beers when I was in school for graphic design. My
yeah.
graphic design is who introduced me to like coming to AAF events.
But now it's sip and meet, right? The more inclusive, right? Like we have to
Mhm.
be conscious of that and evolve the brand as well, right? So now our next sip and meet is going to be I think in March or April actually,
Mhm.
but things like that, right? And the organization and making sure that these programs stay on board after my time, so that we can have more community.
Yeah, for sure. What is one simple, actionable piece of advice you would give to an entrepreneur listening right now who is overwhelmed by whatever their complex tech topic is and, um, you know, of their marketing brand?
Yeah. So I guess, you know, stay the course. Everything is going to be okay. Just don't stop. As long as you keep walking and keep doing what you're doing over and over again, consistency is rewarded. So, and it's a compound interest of investment and time on things. Um, and be careful how you're spending your time and who you surround yourself with, right? A lot of what we do in business and specifically in my industry of capturing moments and communicating ideas is energy transfer, right?
Mm-hmm,
Making
mm-hmm.
that the people around you are you're getting an energy back that is welcoming and being more careful of where you spend your energy, right? I think
Yeah,
those are things that sometimes if you have that on autopilot, um, you look back and sometimes people drain you and different things, or there's
yeah,
being careful about all that stuff. So that would be my advice, and even that can be applied if you're not an entrepreneur, right?
mm,
And you're building your career inside a major corporation as well, right? um, be careful who you consider a friend. A lot of times our coworkers, they're coworkers, and it feels like family and it feels like friendship, right? But you are in a corporate structure and it is competition, right? So
mhm.
being conscious of that early on in my career, I mistook that, and that was definitely a stumbling block for me early on, where you think your coworkers are your friends, but everyone's in competition.
Yeah.
So
You're thrown
sometimes,
right under the rug.
right, oversharing or whatever it is, or
Hmm.
and then just being more conscious and intentional, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that answer for sure. The I find myself in that same space that you're talking about the people that you work with have become your friends. The people on, not everybody, obviously, but the people that I do hang out with, from whether it's my board or people that I used to be employed with, things like that. It's never a situation. I don't have friends in that same way to where it's just a normal friend like you used to have growing up. There's always some sort of business involved. We can talk business all day long and plans and what's next. And those people definitely fuel my drive. They fuel my drive and I feel their drive because it's like, man, we got to go get it. We got to go get it. We got to go get it. So, and we're genuinely excited to hear what the other one has going on and how we have we were talking about one goal at a specific point in time, and now we're here down that line and moving the needle. We get excited for each other. So I look for that too. When I can't share my good with them, if I can't, talk about certain things with them because it might be taken as, oh, I'm bragging or I want to overshadow what they're doing. Like, shine your light and I'm going to shine mine and let's celebrate together.
Amazing, right? And then when you do that, like, I've even had, my friends giving me advice on different things and different moves, or I'll come to them, business friends, right? And be like, hey, there's this opportunity, or should I do that? Or how should I do this? And you get real feedback from people, right? You know, making sure that they match in your energy, like you said, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So
Physically.
perfect answer. All right. Let's plug you, Simon. Where can the decoders connect with you and follow the incredible work happening at A&G Studios and at AAF Las Vegas?
So So A&G Studio is A&G Studio, Albert Nancy Grace, A&G Studio LV.com, A&G Studio LV.com, and you'll see the great things we're doing there. And across Instagram, A&G Studio, A&G Studio. AAF is, let me make sure I got here, AAFLV. AAFLV.org, AAFLV.org. And I want to also plug my friends at Royal Inc. They have been doing an amazing job running our social media, and they're a great marketing firm as well. Royal Inc. And my brother Rafa Rivas over there, he's on our board. And then I want to plug Grafica as well, another very talented, another Hispanic-owned company. Grafica is redesigning our website for AAF, and they're sponsoring the website. By next, hopefully by the summer, by the end of the summer, it'll be complete. And and these are people that are giving of their time. Rocket.tv. I want to plug them as well. They're on our board as well, and that is it's like a closed circuit series of TVs and different businesses across the Las Vegas Valley, and they've been intricate in promoting our events as well, and giving of their time. Right, these are companies much like A&G Studio that like myself, that we're volunteers, right? We're giving time there. Check me out on LinkedIn, Gustavo Simon Lopez on LinkedIn. And then you can always call Franisha, and she knows how to get in touch with me. She's got my cell number. So
Yeah.
if you really need to get in touch with me, hit Franisha up, and she gets 10%.
Okay. Yes, please. I love a good referral fee. No, this is wonderful. Thank you so much for being with us, Simon, aka Gustavo, or should I say Gustavo, aka Simon, because he
Well,
definitely goes by
you want to
both.
hear the story? Do you want to hear
Yes,
the
I want to
story?
hear the story.
Okay. So I was born Gustavo Adolfo Simon Lopez, right?
Hmm.
I love that. Gustavo Adolfo Simon Lopez, which works great on like a telenovela or like
I was
like
gonna say
that.
it's giving Coco, very much Coco.
When you're cold calling agencies in the Midwest, when I first started my business, right, I'm hitting the phones, cold calling all these agencies, and when I would say Gustavo, they'd be like Mufasto, what? So I'm like, man, and early on, I've always said, okay, when there's a roadblock, I got to figure out how to get through that. So I tried using my initials, GA, for some time, but that sounded too pretentious, right? GA, it didn't work, right? And then I was inspired by Emilio Estevez and Charlie Sheen and the creative way that they used their name in show business, right? And then so Simon is my last name and Lopez is my mother's maiden name. So I pulled an Emilio Estevez a little bit there and used my mother's maiden name, and Simon Lopez became a thing, right? And after you introduce yourself 1,000 times as Simon Lopez, then now I'm Simon Lopez. So
That's funny.
but that's the story around that. So call me Simon, and that's fine. I love the Simon Says reference that works wonders on set. And
Mhm.
when I'm directing people, Simon
I
Says.
didn't even know that was a thing because I did say Simon Says at the Christmas party.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
That's
Oh,
funny.
and then guys, come to the bowling event next week. I don't know when this is gonna
Yeah.
air, right? But yeah, come
Yeah,
bowl.
it'll probably air after the bowling event, but it's all
Okay, so
good. We got
we won't
plenty of other
mention that.
things. We do have a Christmas party coming up at the end of the year. We will be doing AMA again with AAF.
Yes.
And then if we have any other people who want to get involved, we're trying to get the PRSAs, the LVMAs involved. So if you guys want to hop on board and
Okay.
throw this kick-ass end of the year holiday party like we used to, like, come on, let's do
Do
it.
it. Let's bring it back.
Yeah, let's bring it back. Bring it
Thanks
back.
so
Bring
much,
it back.
Bernice.
Bring it
I
back.
appreciate you.
No, thank you, Simon. I appreciate you. You enjoy the rest of your day.
You as
We'll see
well.
you soon.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.